I saw a story on ESPN.com, so went ahead and clicked it. The top 10 NFL rookies from this past season. And, of course, my head immediately points to Chris Olave, and where did they have him? I can't pretend that I sit here and monitor every single rookie week to week and how they're performing. But the folks at ESPN can do that. So it starts with Sauce Gardner, corner from Cincinnati, who ended up with the Jets, 75 tackles and 2 picks. He defended 20 passes and was really all he was billed to be for the Jets this year. Aiden Hutchinson was the number 2 pick in the draft. He is number 2 on this list. Had 9.5 sacks. Somehow Aiden Hutchinson ended up with 3 interceptions this year. But he was fantastic for a Lions team that kind of caught fire down the stretch. And at number 3 is Chris Olave of the New Orleans Saints. 72 catches for Olave, had over 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was the 11th pick. The Saints moved to get him, and he was exceptional this year. And that led me to, okay, what does that mean? When you move up to draft Chris Olave, in my opinion, you do so because you feel as though you've got your quarterback in place. At that point, it was Jameis Winston. You feel like he adds to a wide receiver core with Michael Thomas back healthy, Jarvis Landry healthy and ready to play. You add him to a skill position group that includes Alvin Kamara, and you think you've really got the nucleus of a really good offense, and you move up in the draft to get that pick and get that player because you're ready to win now. That's why you make that pick. That's the situation the Saints franchise hoped to be in last year when they made this pick. As I now look back on it, 9-10 months later, I say, yeah, he's awesome, and you've got him for cheap, and that's great. But Michael Thomas didn't work out, and you're about to eat a chunk of change on him. Jarvis Landry was hurt most of the season. The season was wasted, and now as the Saints look at this with no franchise quarterback under center and no first-round pick this year, was it worth it? And my answer right now would be no. I think it would have been wiser to just take whoever falls to you there and then be in position this year to pick in the top 10. That would be a better outcome for the Saints franchise. I realize you don't get hindsight. That doesn't work. You don't get to, never mind. Can we go back? The Eagles can pick there if they want. We're going to. No. It's a weird deal because, yeah, Chris Olave could be the number 1 receiver on the next really good Saints team. Maybe that's next year. But right now, as I sit here, I go, that's a move you make to get what you believe to be one of the last pieces. You thought, man, we were decent last year. Our receiver core fell apart. We didn't have the depth. We're running Deontay Hardy out there and Marquez Callaway out there. We got Troutman trying to run around and make plays. Jawan Johnson. We're close. Our defense is one of the best in the league. And Jameis is coming back, and he's going to settle things down, and we're going to let Pete run this show. And now Mike's back, and we brought in Jarvis, so we add Olave in there. We got Kamara, offensive line. We feel pretty good. And, we'll add Penning in there because I think he can work his way beyond Hurst eventually, in the first 2 months of the season. And then we're the best team in the division. None of that happened except Olave coming through. So when I look at a list from ESPN that says Chris Olave, number 3 rookie, great job moving up to get that, I say, wait a second. Now I'm sitting here looking at a roster with no quarterback, 2 of those wide receivers out the door, an aging defense. I don't know what I'm doing with Cam Jordan. I don't know what I do with Peyton Turner. I don't know what I'm doing with Marcus Davenport. I got some real issues here, and I don't have a first-round pick. That's the risk you run, and the Saints have always been aggressive in the draft. They're going to move up to go get Brandon Cooks. They're going to move up to go get Mark Ingram. They've done this countless times. But they were always in that window with Breeze where it felt like it made sense. And now, for the first time, in over a decade, and really 15 years, the organization's got to look up and go, we might need to throttle this back a gear. And that doesn't mean, again, to reiterate, like that Chris Olave was a bad pick. He's a great pick. Pro Bowl wide receiver future. Went over 1,000 yards his first year. But it's all about the organization. And in the big picture of the organization, unfortunately, the picture looks a little bleak, and you don't have the necessary assets to fix it. Hey, thanks so much for watching the Hunt Palmer Show on YouTube. If you don't mind, throw us a like right below and hit the subscribe button. We'll see you next time.